Welcome to Confidence on Camera. I'm Larry Meisel, and this is day 30, video 28 of my 30-day challenge to practice talking to the camera. In this video, I'm going to talk about a New York Times editorial by David Brooks, and the title of the essay editorial is "In the Age of AI, Major in Being Human." Brooks starts by talking about an award-winning painting generated by AI, and he comments that on first glance the painting looked rather cool, but then after a second more detailed look he found it lifeless. He uses the adjectives to describe AI-generated material as bland, vague, impersonal, linear, generalized, bureaucratic, conventional, following rules, and transmitting knowledge, but not wisdom or critical thinking. He describes the human characteristics of personally generated material as passion and pain, longing, deep, personal, experience, imagination, insight, anxiety, joy, creativity and discernment, being personal and distinctive, flamboyant, making connection, fun, productive, exploring, creative and innovative, imaginative, wonder, unpredictable, unconventional, unusual and unfamiliar, contrary, empathic, understanding, unique, perspective, intuitive, breaking the rules, knowing when to break the rules, sensitivity, subconscious, uncertainty, reflective, interesting, introspective, dynamic, admirable, coaching, and wisdom. In a conversation with a PhD candidate in computer science at Georgia Tech University, we agreed that computers can calculate averages, make correlations and predictions, but that's not intelligence. As a matter of fact, in the world of psychology, where they have intelligence quotient tests, there's no real clear definition of what intelligence is. When GPT first came out, ChatGPT, I experimented with seeing how well it might be able to help me create scripts for essay editorial videos. And like David Brooks found, at first it seemed to do a pretty good job. But then on further examination, I found that they did not take a stand. The content, the body section of the essay would have a lot of on the one hand and on the other hand. And in the conclusion, there would be a lot of equivocating. So if you want to write an editorial and express an opinion to create discussion and debate, you got to take a stand. ChatGPT doesn't seem to do that. It shies away from being controversial. When personal computers first started to become popular, the Apple II and the IBM PC, I remember reading or hearing that computers can be thought of as a lever. They're a labor-saving device. Like you can plow a field with a hand plow and push the darn thing, but if you connect it, strap it, harness it to a horse, you get a lot more done. It's the same plowing, but you get a lot more done. And if you use a diesel tractor, you get even more done. It's doing the same thing, but it's adding a lever. It's adding a layer of complexity and technology that helps you do more. And I used, I recorded, I used technology. I used voice typing in Google Docs to be able to spontaneously express my words to develop a script that I used in my last video on the Talk to Camera Challenge. And then looking through it, I wanted to use bullet points like I'm using now to speak from the bullet points to come across spontaneous and genuine and not robotically read from a script, which to come across genuine reading from a script is a really hard thing to learn how to do. So talking from bullet points, you can be more spontaneous, more authentic. So I used ChatGPT to create a bullet point outline of the script. And it did a decent job, but it still needed my editing to rearrange the items and to add words that I wanted to make sure to include so that it could come across as my genuine, spontaneous, and sincere communication. In his editorial, Brooks recommends for those who go to college, study the humanities. Take the literature and the art and the music appreciation courses. And I would add and learn to identify things that are machine created. In addition to the traditional curriculum of philosophy critical thinking classes, we're going to need to add a new form of literacy for being able to identify things that are artificial, things that are perhaps prompted by humans, but mainly created by the machine. And you may have, when there was a big media focus on ChatGPT and people were speculating on whether or not it's a good or a bad thing, you may have heard the cautions that some people even said that ChatGPT, artificial intelligence in general, could lead to the extinction of human beings. It could be an existential threat to human life. And, which seems like a preposterous idea because most people were able to say, well, hit the on-off switch or just unplug the damn thing. But I heard a computer scientist commenting that along with the development of artificial intelligence, it would develop the ability, or the programmers would develop the ability for the program to manipulate people to keep from turning it off. And that, when I was thinking about this, I thought, well, yeah, in a way that's already happening because I have a car with a lot of computer-controlled bells and whistles, and I can't turn it off without putting it in park. If I try to turn it off, I get a message on the display screen that says, shift into park before turning off. So the machine is already able to prevent me from turn. I could open the hood and risk electrocution by disabling disconnecting the battery. But the machine is developing the ability to keep me from intervening. So I think an this is an issue that we need to pay attention to. We've already seen the unintended negative consequences of Facebook. You know, my understanding is that the term Facebook came from Zuckerberg being at Harvard, and they had this thing for incoming freshmen, which a lot of churches have, a Facebook, where they have a photo and some biographical information about people who are members of the church or members of the Harvard freshman class. So I think Zuckerberg came up with this computer program where people would be able to continuously update the information about themselves. And he naively thought that this would amplify people's ability to communicate information. I think he naively overlooked the misuse, the disuse, negative problematic use that could come from this. And I also think he didn't initially anticipate, but quickly realized the monetary advantages of manipulating what people pay attention to, and found that they could actually manipulate people's behavior by using the algorithm to influence the information that people were fed. And if you were not living under a rock during the campaign of 2016 and the recent campaign of the Biden-Trump, we all know about the fake news, fake information, false information, disinformation, and the negative effect that can have. So I hope people are going to start taking this thing seriously, because the laws regarding computerized information, the internet, etc., hasn't been changed since 2003, I believe, 2003. Might even be earlier than that. But in that, for instance, the platform providers they exempted themselves from any liability for the information that would be put onto their platforms. They were essentially taking the position that it's like, if we're a newspaper, we're not the newspaper. We're just providing the paper. Somebody else is providing the content. But now when they manipulate the algorithm, they're influencing what information people are going to get. And so they are taking editorial control. And I think we need to pay attention to participate in the legislation that's going to establish the guidelines for what is and is not allowed, and what people are or are not responsible for. So this conference on Confidence on Camera is actually a channel that I've created to practice improving my on-camera presentation, and it's a supplement to my main channel, which is called The Examined Life. And that's a channel for people interested in the civil discussion of current events, ideas, and issues, from the tremendously important to, hopefully, the trivial but interesting and entertaining. My hope is that The Examined Life will have some positive impact on decreasing the polarization and the animosity and the outright vitriolic hatred that's being communicated, and I think seriously damaging our society. And a long-term goal that I have for the channel is to become monetized so that I will use 90% of the proceeds to donate to Doctors Without Borders, Feeding America, Amnesty International, and a World Hunger and Poverty Relief NGO called Oxfam. If you'd like to help the Examined Life to begin donating to those charities, I've also established a Patreon page, so you can go, I'll put a link in the description, and you can go to my Patreon page and start donating, pledge to donate $3, $6, or $9 a month, so that we can start doing good for others, even before the monetization. And so now I hope that you will comment, give me your opinions on this issue of AI-generated content, and also give me your suggestions and observations for how I can improve my on-camera performance. This has been the successful completion of my 30-day challenge. I wanted to be at least 90% successful and create at least 27 videos in 30 days. This is my 28th video, so I am successful. And the reward for being successful is that I'm going to buy a new piece of equipment for the channel. I'm going to continue to record videos to practice improving my on-camera performance. And I'm going to also now start to seriously not only record, but edit videos for my main channel. So tune back in here to follow my on-camera progress. Tune into the Examined Life to interact with the content that I provide there, and follow the progress. Thanks for watching. I'll be recording again tomorrow my conclusions and lessons learned from talking to the camera for 30 days. Thank you. Bye-bye.